This is lesson 7.3 for course 2. 7.3 is all about triangles. So on your paper, title it triangles. And there's 6 types of triangles. Okay, so here are the 6 types. There's 3 bullets here in blue and 3 bullets in black. So write them down. So we can take a triangle and we can look at it and classify it by its sides. So we can call it an equilateral triangle, a scalene triangle, or an isosceles triangle just by looking at its sides. And we can classify it by its angles. We can do an obtuse triangle, an acute triangle, and a right triangle. So these 3 that I just read off, you should remember from yesterday's lesson or from the 7.1 lesson. If you remember, obtuse triangle is fat, the angle measures are big. If you remember, it goes from 91 to 180 degrees. And acute is a cute little triangle. It has a degree that is small. And then a right triangle has a 90-degree angle. All right, so angle sum of a triangle. The sum of the measures of the angles of any triangle is, fill in the blank, is 180 degrees. It is not 360, that's a circle. So if you remember, a triangle is 180 degrees. So any triangle, any single triangle that I give you is going to equal 180 degrees. That one's a nice one. It's a 60-60. If I gave you this one and I said, oh, this is 90, this could be 30 and this could be 60. Or we could have a 90-degree angle. This could be 45 and this could be 45. There's all different types, but they all equal 180 degrees. Okay, so our first, we're going to do 6 slides for the 6 different types of triangles. First triangle is an equilateral triangle, which means, now here's the key word, equal, okay? What does that sound like? Well, to me, it sounds like equal, which means all the sides are equal. So an equilateral triangle means, okay, so if A is 8, then that means B is 8 and C is 8. They're all the same, they're equal. If angle A is 60, that means B is 60 and C is 60. So this is an equilateral triangle. And if you think about it, if the degree measures are the same, the sides have to be the same because angle B opens up like this. So if that's angle B and it's open like that, then I can take it, I can turn it, and I can put it on angle C and it would be the exact same. And I can take it and I can turn it and I can put it on A and it will be the same. So they all are equal for equilateral. Scalene, this one's a little bit more difficult. A scalene triangle, if you look here, has all different degrees and all different measures. So if I said that this is 5, B is 10, and C is 13, okay, and those are right here. I just wrote them already down. What scalene means is that all 3 sides are different. So I have equilateral where they're all the same. Scalene is they are all different. So then if I look at my angle measures, if B is 53 and C is 107, I would add those together and see, oh, that's 160. So I know that this has to be 20 degrees because they all have to equal 180 degrees. So if they ask you that question, what's angle A if B is 53 and C is 107? Then you need to add those together and subtract them from 180. Okay, our last one is isosceles. Now, isosceles, now I think of it as eyes because it kind of sounds the same. And you have two eyes. And an isosceles triangle has two sides that are the exact same. And your eyes are the exact same. So that's how I remember it. So some people think of ice cream and I don't know, has two scoops. But I think of eyes. You have two eyes. So if A is 9 and B is 7, what would C be? Well, if I look at it, I know that it has to be the same as one of the other sides. So I know it has to be the same as A, which would be 9. So I know C would be 9. And then if I look here, angle A is 70 degrees. B is 40. Well, 70 plus 40 is 110. And I have to get up to 180. So I do 180 minus 110, and I know that C would be 70 degrees because it has to equal 180, remember. This plus this plus this has to equal 180 degrees. Okay, so those are the three by sides. We have an equilateral that's all the same, scalene is all different, and isosceles has two the same. So 1, 2, and 3. Now, these are classifying by angles. Obtuse is kind of what we talked about earlier. It's big and fat. It has a very large, okay, it has one angle that's between 90 and 180. So if you look here, they've given us A and B. So A is a little angle. It's only 28 degrees. And B is another little angle, and that's 35. So now they want us to find C. So if I add up 35 plus 28, I see, okay, that's 63 degrees. So now I'm going to take 180 minus 63, and I see that C is 117 degrees. That fits my criteria of between 90 and 180. So I know that that is an obtuse triangle. It has to have 1 degree greater than 90. It has to have one big one. An acute triangle, if you remember, is really cute and little. Okay? If A is 55 and B is 50, so I add those up, 50 plus 55 is 105. That I know that this one, C, has to be 75 degrees because all of them have to equal 180. Now look, they're all less than 90 degrees, so they're all little and cute. And then a 90-degree angle, I know that C is 90 because of this little square. Whenever they put that square in there, it's kind of the way to say, hey, this is a 90-degree angle. It's perfectly square, and so I'm going to draw that little square to tell you, oh, it's 90 degrees. It's kind of just a little hint. So if that's 90, B is 40, and A is 50. They equal 180. All right, that is it for your notes.